Welcome and thank you for your interest in the first ever OpenText SolEx Partner Expo, hosted by the network of OpenText Solution Extension Partners.
Welcome and thank you for attending our SolEx Expo, the first ever independent virtual conference showcasing OpenText solution extensions. My name is Sean Murphy, Director of Sales and Marketing for Cassia Content Management, a proud member of the OT SolEx Partners Group. Cassia has been an OpenText solution extension or SolEx partner since 2011. We are fully endorsed by OpenText as a third-party software development company under the Silver Technology Partner Program, and our enhancement modules are listed on OpenText's application marketplace. With a large portion of employees now working remotely and customer needs shifting, traditional document management operations requires adaptation. Today we're going to see a secure remote workforce collaborating in a multilingual workplace with enhancement modules from Cassia Content Management. This presentation will feature two solution extensions by Cassia, the Content Suite Security and Productivity Pack, or SPP, and the OpenText Translator for Content Suite Platform. During the presentation, please feel free to engage with the Cassia team via the chat window. Our team will be available as well immediately following the video. Let's begin with the first segment of our video. Alex Kowalenko, partner for Cassia, will be demonstrating how to secure your content server implementation with the Content Suite Security and Productivity Pack. Alex has been successfully delivering information technology solutions for several decades. With an effective blend of technical and managerial skills as well as extensive industry experience, Alex has a proven track record of meeting complex business needs. Since 1996, Alex has been affiliated with OpenText, the world leader in enterprise content management products, including OpenText Content Suite. In this video, Alex will show us locking down visibility and permissions, restricting user and group lists, how SPP extends audits, and how location-based privileges can be used in a multinational workforce. Alex?
Thank you, Sean, for those kind words. In my experience, I can vouch that OpenText Content Suite is secure and productive right now, right out of the box. So, why do we need the Security and Productivity Pack by Cassia? Well, with the Cassia SPP, security and productivity can be made just that much better. Let's take a look and see for ourselves. Out of the box, everybody can see everybody else and those permissions lists. Maybe that's okay, maybe not. With the Cassia SPP, you can lock permissions. This means restricting certain names from appearing in those permissions lists. What does this look like? Let's say that Alex is a Content Suite user, and he can see all users and groups in any permissions list. Here he is as a K inside a folder. When Alex selects View Permissions, he sees everybody, and this is right out of the box. Let's say that Sean is another Content Suite user. Here he is as SM, and he just happens to be inside the same folder as Alex. But with the Cassia SPP, we restricted Sean, and probably other people in a group or two, to see only some users and groups. So when Sean selects View Permissions, he sees fewer names. Restricted ones are hidden from view. The set of restricted names and permissions lists is totally configurable with the Cassia SPP to suit your specific needs. So far so good, but there's more. Out of the box, everybody can see everybody else in any users and groups list. Maybe that's okay, maybe not. With the Cassia SPP, you can increase privacy. This means restricting who is visible. Wonder how that works? It so happens that Alex can see everybody. Here he is again inside that same folder. Now when he types A in the lookup field, he sees all users and groups, including Alex himself. This is right out of the box. But with the Cassia SPP, we restricted poor Sean to see only some users and groups. Here he is again in that same folder. And when he types A in the lookup field, he sees only some names. Look, he can't even see that Alex is a user on the system. The set of restricted users and groups is totally configurable with the Cassia SPP to suit your specific needs. Not bad, you say? Well, there's even more. The Cassia SPP can allow items to be created in some locations. This is possible with something called location-based privileges. Sean tells me that this can lead to a multinational workforce. I'm wondering how. Out of the box, people can have permission to add items such as documents and folders in certain locations. A location could be a folder in the enterprise workspace, or your personal workspace, or even workflow attachments. Now let's say that you have invested a lot of time and effort in creating a productive, secure folder hierarchy. To maintain the integrity of this structure, you may want to restrict the privilege of adding folders. Out of the box, this is easily done. You simply restrict object privileges for folders. Now this restriction applies to all locations. Let me repeat, all locations. This includes personal workspaces and all the folders in the secure hierarchy. It so happens that your secure folder hierarchy serves a multinational workforce on all continents. Some people, such as Alex, have permission to contribute content on any continent. Alex can go to Africa and add a document, but not a folder. That's because he does not have the privilege of adding folders. So far, so good. But it so happens that people like Alex need to add folders in their own continent. Alex, being in Canada, needs to add folders in North America. Out of the box, this is not possible. But with the Cassia SPP, okay, it is possible. Location-based privileges are totally configurable with the Cassia SPP to suit your specific needs. Want more? Just say the word. The Cassia SPP can also extend audits. Sean tells me that this can be used to reveal people who should perhaps not have access to certain locations. Let's see about that. Out of the box, Content Suite does a great job logging and reporting activity with those audit trails. But maybe you want a little bit more. Maybe you want to see who has access to certain locations. Out of the box, this is not easily done, but the Cassia SPP provides an open audit event on folders that does exactly this. So here is Alex opening the Watch Me folder. Now let's take a look at the audit log to see what we can see. And look, we can see who has opened the folder, which is to say, who has accessed this location. Hey, Sean's been here, and Alex was here 4 months ago. Moreover, those who need to know can see who has accessed all locations of interest. Extended audits are totally configurable with the Cassia SPP to suit your specific needs. Some of you may already know this, but Content Suite comes with a great tool right out of the box to secure your information architecture. That tool uses something called supplemental markings. The Cassia SPP can be used, you guessed it, to make this tool even better. If you're interested, all you have to do is ask. Now that we are as secure and as productive as can be, let us show you how Cassia enables true global operations with the OpenText Translator for Content Suite. Let me introduce you to Ben Shapiro, a founding partner at Cassia Content Management, to present the Multilingual Show.
Core OpenText Content Server allows for monolingual workflows. Unfortunately, if you have a population that speaks different languages, this means that you can't tailor your workflow to different users who speak different languages. The OpenText Translator module does allow for this, however, and in the next few minutes I'm going to show you quickly how you can multilingualize a workflow using the OpenText Translator. So here we have a regular traditional approval process workflow. I'm just going to open it up, and here we can see the steps. We have review, finalize, approve, etc. If I look at this step, one thing you'll notice that's different is we now have the globe icons here. Globe icons appear on any field that is multilingualizable, where you can provide information in different languages. In Core Content Server, these globes appear on object names and descriptions. So with the Translator module, we've extended it out to the step names, instructions, and some other fields as well. More so, we've also added a Translate button at the bottom. By clicking the Translate button, it lists all the fields in each language. So here I have English, this is what the values are in English, and I want to select a destination language. I'm going to be doing French and Japanese. Now these are free-form fields. I could go in and I could type the values myself, or if I'm connected to a translation provider, I can click Translate and it brings back the results. Do the same in Japanese, Translate. As mentioned, they're free-form. If I want to modify or I make it unique in any manner, I can do that as well. I click OK, add to workflow definition, and I'm going to save. Now I'm just going to show you quickly by clicking on the globe icon. You can see the values have come in English and French and Japanese. More than just the step names and instructions, OpenText Translator also allows to make the attributes multilingual. It makes attributes multilingual within Core Content Server as well, which we'll see later on. However, specifically for this demo, I'm going to show it in the map as well. So this map has some attributes defined in it. It has approver, reviewer, description, and instruction. Now if we want to make these multilingual, I simply go to Map, Attribute Translation. I'm presented with the attributes, the names themselves here. You can see they're all in English. If I want to provide the values in French, I simply do a drop down with French, and again I can type the values here, or I can click Translate. Unfortunately, this is the same translation in English and French, so I'm just going to provide the text myself. I'm also going to do the same for Japanese. Now, beyond just the attribute names, just save that, beyond the attribute names, you might want the values translatable as well. Now, these checkboxes here determine whether or not the attribute is translatable. Now, some of them don't have checkboxes, and that is because they are not attribute types that make sense to be translated. Approver and reviewer are user type fields. They don't make sense to be translated. Description and instructions are text type fields, so they could potentially be translatable. Now, we may or may not want to do this. If you can imagine an attribute such as, say, a part number or something else, not necessarily all attributes make sense to be translated in the other languages. I'll leave these as monolingual for the purposes of this demo. I'll save the map. So, we've translated the attribute names, and we've translated the step names and instructions. Let's initiate it. So I'll click on the workflow to initiate it. And first I'm going to send it to a French user. initiate it, and it's gone. I'm going to switch over to a French user here. Here's a French assignment. I'm just going to reload the page, and it's come in. Click on this, and we'll see, okay, here we go. So here's the step name has come through, Salmon. I have my instructions. They're all in French. It's a French user. And if I click on the attributes, I can see that they come through in my language as well. I'm going to go back. I'm going to initiate it again. I'm back as an English user. I'm going to initiate it again to Japanese. Okay, that's been initiated. Now as a Japanese user, I'll reload this to bring in the information. Click on it. And again, lo and behold, everything is here in my language as a Japanese user. My instructions, step names, and so on. So just as you'd expect, everything you want. This allows you to then now have a workflow handled across multiple populations. Each, regardless of the language they speak, they see the information in their own language and then can action it and send it on its way. Core Content Server provides multilingual capabilities primarily through the installation of language packs. These are packs that install new languages for menu names and buttons and so on. From a metadata standpoint, Core Content Server also allows you to provide object names and their descriptions inside of each language. OpenText Translator takes this to the next level. It extends it out and allows attribute names and their description and their values also to be provided in the user's language of choice. Here's an example of Core Content Server with an English and French interface. What you can see is that here I am as an English user. I see the values in both languages, English and French, at the same time. The impact here is that sometimes I don't see all the information. So there's some truncation, for example, here, and in fact for extremely long instances, it might even be completely truncated before it gets to my language. This can also cause problems for screen readers. With the OpenText Translator module, we make it so that attribute names and their descriptions and their values can also be provided in the user's language of choice. Again, I'm here as an English user. Everything I see is in English. This metadata is entered to help me find that information quicker, and as such, the Translator module provides for that ability. If I look at the category of this object, you can see that more clearly. All my attribute names are in my language, English, and the available values are as well. If I go back to this folder, and I'm going to look at the exact same as a French user. Here I am as a French user, same objects, and now everything is in French. Everything is in my language, and only my language. Again, the strength of the metadata is finding the information, and I can leverage that strength here. Here's a Japanese instance, also the same folder, but again, as my language, in Japanese, here I see only my language. This is also propagated through to the Smart View. You'll see that when I look at the information of the object in Smart View, the names and values also come through in my language of choice, here again as Japanese. Another primary feature of the OpenText Translator module is the concept of assisted search. In an environment where you have assets perhaps in different languages, or they may have been tagged by users using other languages, you want to make sure that you find those in your search criteria. So here's an example. I'm going to do a search for safety report. I'm an English user. I'm going to click search, and I'm going to get some results back. Now that's great, but the challenge here is that it's only searched in English. What if I have documents in other languages, or content that is even English but has been tagged by somebody in another language? The OpenText Translator provides this ability, automatic translation. If I check this checkbox to include automatic translations, it will translate my search query using whatever appropriate external source, and will then find content that satisfies those criteria. You can see here there are more results. If I go back and I look under the covers, you can see that it's taken my search query and translated it to all the other languages defined on the system. What this does is this ensures that I maximize the ability to leverage other content on my system, even though it might not be in my language or tagged from other users. Working in a multilingual environment or dealing with multilingual assets, you may find yourself faced with a document that you don't know how to read. Perhaps you came across it with the multilingual metadata via filtering or column information. Perhaps you did an assisted search that came up with the results. Or even a colleague sent a link to a document and you opened it up and you don't know how to read it. The OpenText Translator module brings together this feature called Content Preview. What it does is it converts the document using the built-in OpenText Content Server filters into a format that you can read. And you can look through it. Okay, I see here, I don't know how to read this. I did a search on safety report and this is what came up. Again, via the OpenText Translator module, using your translation provider, I can translate it into my language of choice, in this case English. I'm going to click English, and what comes back is a translation of the document. Okay, yes, this is a safety report. It's a food safety report. So this is a machine translation. It's a transitory document, so there's no need to keep it, even if the original document is a record. And I can take a look and I can determine how I need to access it further. Do I need to further action it, or was it a false positive? It's a huge strength from the OpenText Translator module, in that really any multilingual asset becomes available for you to use for the entire population. Core Content Server has an item called a live report. This one right here. Now, live reports are great ways of finding information about your Content Server instance and presenting it to the users. Now, if you have users who speak different languages, unfortunately, out-of-the-box Content Server doesn't allow you to tailor the output to those different languages. With OpenText Translator module, that's now possible. So here, I'm in as an English user, and here is a report that we have multilingualized, if you will, via the OpenText Translator module. I'm going to run the report. You can see the prompts are all in my language. Let's select some values here, and run the report. What you can see, again, I'm in as an English user, prompts are in my language, the column headings are all in my language, and in fact here it says something in my language, it says blank. If I go in as a French user, here was the same view as of the same folder, now is French, I'm going to run the same report. Okay, now we see the prompts are all now in French, as expected for this user, and I'll just run it. And you'll see again, as a French user, now everything is in French. The prompts, the column headings are now all in French, and in fact the SQL says something different. The ability to translate the SQL is slightly different, obviously, from the column headings and so on. It might be that you have your French information is in a different table from your English and so on, or you just want to present it differently. What's nice about this is that now there's a lot of information in the Content Server, and that now becomes opened up to a wider population in a more agreeable manner, rather than having to do any workarounds with column headings and so on. The OpenText Translator makes that possible.
As Ben so aptly demonstrated, we saw that OpenText Translator for Content Suite by Cassia can provide tremendous benefits to your multinational workforce. Shouldn't your connected workspaces give you the same benefit? Let's say that you connect to SAP, and it has multilingual information. That multilingual information stored in SAP should be seamlessly available to your people. Don't you think? Is this even possible? Well, of course it is. All you need is the Extended ECM Translation add-on by Cassia. Thank you everybody for your time. And to show you how you can get all of our fine products, here is Sean.
Thank you, Alex. If you have any questions regarding our presentation, please feel free to engage with the Cassia team via the chat window until the top of the hour. We will also be available at Cassia's virtual booth immediately following this session, which you can navigate to via the Expo menu in your browser. The virtual booth has some additional recorded sessions with some more technical background along with downloadable material. This video will also be available on Cassia's YouTube channel following the Expo. You can find our channel and learn more about Cassia by visiting our website at www.cassiacm.com. sales@cassiacm.com or by contacting sales@cassiacm.com. On behalf of Cassia, thank you for attending our session and enjoy the rest of the Expo.